Man, this has been one of the most emotional weeks I think I could ever remember watching WWE programming. This week brought together a community all feeling primarily the same way. There were a few bad seeds in the community who refused to sit down and understand that there is a major difference between character on TV and then real life individual. We have done a very good job of separating the two. We've all been very opinionated in attacking the Roman Reigns character on WWE television, and rightfully so. I don't think there's anybody watching me, unless you're a complete buffoon. I don't think there's anybody watching me right now that would not agree with what we've stated for the last 4 years. The character that Vince McMahon tried to shove down our throats for the last 4 years was done in such a terrible way that it did more damage than it did good. And he did not understand that. Nobody understood that, except for a select few, the vocal minority. We tried to get our point across. We tried to make people understand, and nobody would listen. WWE did more negative than good by pushing Roman Reigns the way that they did for the last 4 years. They sabotaged entire rosters. They completely put all their eggs in one basket. It's a tired statement, it's a tired saying, but it's true. They put all their eggs in one basket. They put all their hopes and dreams into one man, and it did not pay off. They did more damage than good, and you could see that that is absolutely 100% factual with the way that Monday Night Raw is presented week in and week out. Storylines sabotaged. Every single WrestleMania season, character sabotage for one man to push the agenda, to push the initiative. Nobody understood that. It's something that I've been pushing for the last 4 years. It's something that I've come to understand. It's something that we've all come to know is wrong. I mentioned this on Monday Night Raw review. That you can't have one guy sit at the top all by himself. He needs supporting characters. He needs help. Nobody can do anything in this world. Nobody can do anything in this life without help. I don't understand why people wouldn't want help. I don't understand why WWE wouldn't surround Roman Reigns with guys, characters, wrestlers on the same vein as him, on the same level as him. I didn't get it. I still don't get it. And like I said, I mentioned on my Monday Night Raw review, why wouldn't WWE position others around Roman Reigns just in case something like this happened? Roman Reigns can make all the statements that he wants, that he's going to beat leukemia. Roman Reigns can make all the statements that he wants, that he's going to come back bigger, stronger than ever. We don't know that. I hope that he does. Because we here can separate the differences between the real life Joe and the character Roman Reigns. We don't know when Roman Reigns is returning. We don't know if Roman Reigns is returning at all. We certainly all hope so, and we all certainly hope that he is 100% healthy coming back from this. But we don't know anything. If WWE had positioned others behind Roman Reigns, then maybe all the complaining would have kind of died down over the years. Maybe WWE wouldn't be in this situation where now not only Roman Reigns is hurt, Sami Zayn is hurt, Kevin Owens is hurt, Bobby Lashley is hurt. Who's the next one to be hurt? You're looking at a Monday Night Raw show with a depleted roster. And no one who is ready to claim the top spot in the eyes of Vince McMahon. I would have given it to Seth Rollins, But nobody wanted to give it to Seth Rollins because we all had to do it for Roman. It brought a community together this week, and I felt terrible with the announcement on Monday Night Raw. It literally blindsided everybody to the point where the roster didn't even know what was going on until the announcement was made. There was only a handful of WWE officials, presumably Triple H and Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn and everybody else that's up in the higher echelon of management in WWE. But everybody found out on the roster the same way that we did, live when he said it. It brought together a community because nobody wants to see someone struggle through something so terrible. I've had cancer affect my family. In fact, I had cancer take one of my graduating classmates from the year 2000. I graduated Mount St. Michael Academy in the Bronx. And I graduated with my buddy Tommy, who passed away this past Tuesday from complications of brain cancer. And this entire podcast is dedicated to him this entire weekend. Rest easy, brother. It brought together a community, and we've all gotten behind Roman Reigns to get better. But like I said, there are still in the community some of those people who are just viciously out to attack everybody like me and like you, who understood the differences between Joe Anoa'i and Roman Reigns. And they viciously attacked everybody for calling us out and calling Roman Reigns out because we didn't agree with the way WWE pushed him. We didn't agree with WWE's tactics. We attacked Roman Reigns all these years, and now look, you attacked a man with leukemia. Or a man who's battled leukemia most of his life. Those people don't understand the differences between real life and what you see on TV. You know, it's 100% okay to hate a character on TV. It really is. And I'm going to use this as an example because I love the character that he portrays on television. Jeffrey Dean Morgan on The Walking Dead. He plays Negan. Do you go on his Twitter and say, I fucking hate you, I wish you'd die? No, you don't. Because he's portraying a character on television. It is okay for us to hate a character on television. I loved it. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Negan character because I'm more of a villain guy than I am a babyface. That's just the way I've operated all my life. When I watch something, when I watch a movie or a TV show or wrestling, I enjoy the villains more than I do the babyfaces. When you watched, or when a casual watched The Walking Dead, and Negan lined all of Rick's camp up, and he killed Glenn and Abraham violently and viciously and brutally right in front of all of his friends, did you not hate Negan for that? Did you not want to see Negan get what he deserved in the end? Did you not want to see Maggie fucking slit the throat of Negan? Did you not want to see Rick fucking shoot this guy dead with his revolver? Did you not? I didn't. I am in the minority who loved what Negan did because I thought it was great television. A villain like that makes everything better on the show. Same thing in wrestling. But did you not want to see Negan fucking killed and get what he deserves after what he did there? Everybody loved Glenn. People loved Abraham for what he was to Rick's group. It's okay to hate Negan. It's okay to hate Roman Reigns. We never hated Joe Anoa'i, and I never hated Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It's the same fucking concept. It is okay to hate a character that is portrayed on television for his actions on television, or in this case with Roman Reigns, it's okay to hate Roman Reigns because WWE has been so blind to everything else around them that they put all their hopes and dreams into one guy, and he didn't get them to where they need to be. It's okay, people. It is absolutely okay. But the announcement blindsided everybody on Monday Night Raw, and I feel terrible because this is a real-life situation. You feel terrible. And most of the people that came to me, 99% of you came to me understanding what was going on. I never once in my entire life mentioned Joe Anoa'i by name on this podcast in conjunction with Roman Reigns. It was always Roman Reigns. And it was always the way Roman Reigns was portrayed. And it was always the way Roman Reigns was pushed. It was never about the way Joe Anoa'i was pushed or Joe Anoa'i portrayed. It was always Roman Reigns. We all feel terrible. But I tried to look at this in the best possible light. Yes, Roman Reigns is not going to be there. I'm no dummy. Roman Reigns is a superstar. Roman Reigns is one of the biggest names in the WWE, if not the biggest name outside of a guy like Brock Lesnar or John Cena. Part-time talent like that. The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels now all returning to WWE. Full-time Roman Reigns is the biggest name on that roster. I understand this. I am no dummy. Roman Reigns makes the WWE roster better. When he's not there, that roster takes a huge hit. I understand that. No matter how against I've been with Roman Reigns, I understand that he is more valuable to them when he is there. And when he's not there, it's detrimental to the product. I understand this. But I'm trying to look at this, like I said, in the positives. We need to start thinking of the positives in this. We need to start looking at the future of Monday Night Raw. We need to start looking at the roster and what this means for them. And today I'm going to document everything. I'm going to go over everything. I'm going to go over who could potentially be the new number one guy in the WWE. Going to give you a list of names. Going to go over when Roman Reigns found out that he had leukemia return. When the WWE roster found out, when the WWE management found out, and they withheld information from everybody else until Monday night. Where does Monday Night Raw go from here? Why did Dean Ambrose turn heel? When was Dean Ambrose supposed to turn heel? What's the plan now with Roman Reigns not there? Is the entire show of Monday Night Raw going to revolve around Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose? I got so much Roman Reigns news right here that it's going to take up the entire show. It's going to go at least 2 hours. I got so much news to talk about when it comes to Roman Reigns that you're not going to want to miss this, man. All the information, all the aftermath from Monday Night Raw is going to be filled in this entire podcast. We need to start looking at the positives now, moving forward for Monday Night Raw. This could potentially be what WWE needs. Roman Reigns will beat leukemia. Roman Reigns will be back. Deep down in my heart, I believe Roman Reigns will be back. We don't know when he's going to be back, but for the time being, business needs to go on. The show needs to go on. And Monday Night Raw right now is in literally the worst state it could possibly ever be in. And we need to start thinking about what's next. What's next for all the characters on the show currently right now? Where do we go into the fall and winter months? Where do we go into WrestleMania season? Roman Reigns factored into WrestleMania, no question. What happens to WrestleMania now? Who is the new Universal Champion? Who's the new Universal Champion going into WrestleMania? What is the feud now over the Universal Championship? A lot of questions. A lot of questions that need answering. But there's one thing that WWE has going for them right now. Monday Night Raw has been so formulaic, so stale, so cut and dry, boring, repetitive, that I'm not sitting here saying that, something like this needed to happen to Roman Reigns. Something like this doesn't need to happen to anybody. But with a top guy out for whatever reason, injury, sickness, health reasons, whatever the case may be, this now needs to be the time where Monday Night Raw thrives. Unpredictability is going to be running rampant. That's always a good thing for a wrestling show. The roster now needs to step up without Roman Reigns there, not only to make Roman Reigns proud by continuing the show and the legacy and the tradition that he's leaving behind for the time being, but the roster needs to step up to pretty much prove to Vince McMahon, listen, there are other guys on this roster that need to step up and could be the guy that you could fill into Roman Reigns' spot. This, by default, is going to make everybody that much more hungry. You don't think there's a ton of people on that roster that want Roman Reigns' spot? Watch that roster get better. Watch that roster work better. And watch them prove themselves to Vince McMahon. That in itself is the best possible fucking thing to come out of all this. We're going to talk about everything today, man. We're going to go over literally every aspect of why this could be a good thing without Roman Reigns being there, why Monday Night Raw finally could deliver quality television. It's going to be a good show today, man. Thank you so much for all being here. We are less than 500 away, or just about 500 away from 100,000, man. The growth on this channel the last couple of weeks has been absolutely mesmerizing, man. It's unbelievable. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're doing it. We're doing it big, and we're not stopping, man. I've been so hungry the last couple of weeks to create content. I've been so comfortable making content. I've been so excited to make content because I know that number is coming up. I know that milestone is coming up, and I'm not stopping, man. We're here with a take over the world mentality, and we're not going to stop until we are the best damn fucking wrestling channel on this platform. So thank you guys so very much for all your support, man. We got a lot of news to go over, okay? We're going to go over literally everything Roman Reigns. Tomorrow, we're going to go over everything Evolution. I got so much Evolution news that we may have two 2-hour podcasts Friday and Saturday, man. So much shit going on in the world of WWE with Roman Reigns, Evolution, or the lack thereof of effort with Evolution, and Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel, still a major, major, major talking point in WWE. WWE is not removing Crown Jewel from Saudi Arabia. WWE confirmed on Thursday with a conference call with Vince McMahon that Crown Jewel will remain in Saudi Arabia, and people are up in arms about this. Hashtag cancel Crown Jewel is making its way around social media. It's a crazy time to be in WWE, man, so it's going to be a crazy weekend full of news. Friday, Roman Reigns. Saturday, Evolution. Sunday, Crown Jewel. Going to be a ton of news this weekend right here on Off the Script. Also, today I got That Wrestling Club unboxing. I got 2 boxes sitting next to me, man. I got That Wrestling Club, and then I got Pro Wrestling Crate. So we're going to do That Wrestling Club today, and we're going to do Pro Wrestling Crate from Pro Wrestling Tees on Saturday. But I am super excited, man. I am super excited because I promised you guys, and it is approved. The 100,000 subscriber t-shirt is finally approved, and it is now on sale at barbershopwindow.com. This is the absolute greatest design I think I have ever put on my store. And I got to thank my boy Sal Rex. He has been such a huge fucking supporter of the show, of the channel, and what I do. He is very loyal to those who he supports in and around the community. He is a very talented guy, and he's always there, waiting and willing to do what I need to get me the best fucking graphics that anyone could possibly get me, even when it's last minute. Just like Bound for Glory. I asked him, dude, I need a Bound for Glory thumbnail. He was in my fucking email within 15 minutes. The guy is an absolute fucking beast, and bro, if you're watching, thank you so much for everything that you've done with me. I am so fortunate, so lucky, and so fucking proud to have you on my team. And as we break 100,000 subscribers, man, I want you right there up front and center as one of the reasons why this channel looks so fucking good, man. But with him and his work and his vision and him going back and forth with, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, man, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was the same guy that did the cover art for my brother Legionary, Frank, and his band Legionary, and the EPs that he put out, the really, really great ones. For example, like the last one that he did, very detailed, and I absolutely love this design, man. So today, right now, get ready. Get ready. We're going to unveil the shirt, man. So if you guys are listening to me on iTunes and Podbean and Google Play, you need to come to the YouTube channel and you need to watch this particular part of the video of the podcast, man. Here we go, man. Unveiling the new shirt. Right here, 100K for everybody, now available on Barbershop Window. There you go, man. This is an absolute fucking beastly design that has left me fucking speechless. This is the perfect embodiment of everything that this channel is about. I absolutely love it, man. We got me in the background wearing the off the script hat, and as you can see there, no explanation needed. This is an absolute fucking beast design. I absolutely love it. I'm in love with it. It is now on sale, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. You guys can even get a coupon code, man, by entering BShop20. You're going to save 20% off every single order on Barbershop Window, man. It's a take on Master of Puppets. It's a take on Iron Maiden. You guys know my love for old school heavy metal. This is the 100,000 subscriber commemorative t-shirt, and I absolutely love it, man. So go get yours today. Go support the show. Go support Off the Script. As you can see there, the Off the Script logo is in the hat. It's perfectly, emulating me with my goatee. I'm a demon, kind of like Iron Maiden's mascot. And like I said, it's a take on the Master of Puppets album right there with, as you can see, Mr. Roman Reigns just burning in a pit of fire because, so there's going to be some people, I understand, some people are going to be like, dude, this is too early. How could you do this? Blah, blah, blah. Listen, this shirt's been in design for like 2 fucking months now, okay? So I'm not going to not release it, number one. Number two, again, you need to separate the character Joanna Y and Roman Reigns from one another, okay? You got to separate the character and the real-life man. And the Roman Reigns puppets here at the end of the chains signify everybody that's come out and blasted me on social media, that has just completely shit on me every which way, every part of my channel, every part of who I am. All you Roman Reigns supporters out there who did not believe me and did not listen to what I said for the last 4 years, there you go. That is them. That is what the picture is supposed to get across to you. So I love it. I think this is great. If you guys want to support the show, man, get this beastly design available right now, which I didn't even know it was on the website, to be honest with you. I'm seeing sales come in. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even know it was available. People are buying it already. So it's on sale right now, man. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. As you can see, Salrex made a new design there. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Coupon code BSHOP20 for 20% off. That is the newest design. 18 designs in total. So make sure you guys go get your designs today. Still some of the highest selling t-shirts, even today, on my podcast, man, or for my podcast. The Get Off My TV Roman Reigns design, they do it for Roman, and the newest one, and his empire is still not over. Sales from those t-shirts, which I get every week, sales from those t-shirts I am donating to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society at the end of the month, man. If you guys want proof, I'll definitely show you some proof at the end of the month. But thank you guys so very much for all your support. Go and buy the new t-shirt. It is now available on Barbershop Window. And as you can see there, on a t-shirt design on a black background, that looks fucking gorgeous. Oh my goodness, man. Harrys.com/script. Man, Salrex, these graphics look fucking beast, bro. Thank you so much. Harrys.com/script for your free trial shave sets. 3 different colors they come in, man. I actually bought myself the orange. Now I got all 3 of them. I got the green, I got the orange, and I got the blue. For whatever you're feeling that day, man. Listen, Harry's, and as you can see, I actually shaved with Harry's before I came on the show today, before I hit record. Harry's is great, man. When that fresh blade hits your face, believe me, it is the smoothest shave that you will ever have. I have incredibly sensitive skin, okay? And with a brand new blade, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to cut myself and I'm going to be bleeding all over the place. With Harry's, I have not cut myself once. My skin is super sensitive, and Harry's takes care of that, man. The blades are so smooth that you're not even going to feel anything on your face, man. It's going to be like, oh, shit, this is fantastic. So what they're going to do for you, man, they're going to give you a free trial shave set. All you got to do is go to harrys.com/script, use our unique link. You're going to get the blade. You're going to get the razor handle. I don't think you guys have a choice in color. They're going to send you whatever they send you. But it's going to be one of those 3 colors for sure. You're going to get the blade, the handle, the protective case for it so you guys can keep it nice when you're not using it. And you're going to get the foaming shave gel, which soothes, hydrates, and it smells fucking fantastic, man. It lathers so nice that when that blade slides across your face, done deal, man. It's the best shave of your life. And Harry's believes that as well, that they're going to give you a free trial shave set. Listen, Christmas is coming up. This makes a perfect stocking stuffer. You ladies out there listening to the show, this is good for you as well. Perfect for all your shaving needs. Harrys.com/script. Get your free trial today. It's a great way to support the show. Audible. Audible has been a great friend of the show, sponsoring the show for a year and a half right now. audibletrial.com/offthescript is our unique link. Everybody that's listening to Off the Script that uses our link here is going to go get 30 days free of Audible service. That's 1 month free, and they're going to give you a free audiobook of your choice, no matter what. And here's the best part about it. If you don't like Audible and you want to try it, you don't like it, you guys can cancel within the 30 days and keep your audiobook for free, no matter what, man. If you guys have already signed up, you can't sign up again, but you guys can give Audible to a friend, a family member, a coworker, a colleague, your girlfriend's folks, anybody in their family, a complete stranger. Maybe you got a friendship going with the guy at the convenience store down the street. Give the gift of Audible, man. Whatever it may be, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. And being that we are a wrestling related podcast, as you can see there, all the choices you got. Just some of the choices with the wrestling content on there. You got Shawn Michaels' Wrestling for My Life, Jim Ross, My Life in Wrestling, Chris Jericho's book, Daniel Bryan's book, Brock Lesnar's book, Justin Roberts, where he details all the hardships with a WWE announcing gig, with all the political politics going on backstage. Second Nature, Ric Flair and Charlotte's book, Stone Cold Steve Austin with the Stone Cold Truth, and The Death of WCW. Only available on Audible. So you guys got all that wrestling content plus so much more. Over 200,000 choices to choose from. Any genre that you want, any genre that your heart desires, man, on Audible. Support through Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. And please follow me on social media, man. At JD from NY 206 on Twitter. Hit that subscribe button down below. Become one of the 100,000 in this army right here on the channel. And if you guys want to support through the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY 206. That is also a great way to support the show. And I want to shout out my Patreons for this week, man. You guys are absolutely killing it on Patreon. You guys are beast. We got Eddie Alfonso upping his pledge from $5 to $10. Robertson Ponce pledged $5. And Jason Tarr pledged $5, man. Thank you guys so very much for being a part of Team JD on Patreon. Patreon.com/JD from NY 206. Let's open this crate, man. I am excited because normally That Wrestling Club is one of the best crates that you could possibly ever subscribe to. They are friends of the show. They sponsor the show every single month with a crate. We unbox it for them. And it's something like Harry's, man. I never want to work with people that I don't believe in. And That Wrestling Club is absolutely fantastic. They may be, out of all the wrestling-related crates, they may be the best one. Now, Pro Wrestling Crate, I don't consider them a wrestling crate. It's just a t-shirt crate. But you're not going to really get action figures or anything like that or WWE-related merchandise. You got That Wrestling Club, man, who works directly with WWE. You get autographs that you can only get if you go to the shows, or if you go to a WrestleCon or some type of event like that. You get Funko Pop, you get WWE Elite action figures, you get t-shirts, custom-made t-shirts, man. It's great. So what you guys are going to do if you enjoy what you see in the crate, thatwrestlingclub.com, and you're going to choose your subscription. You have two choices. You got a cruiserweight box, and you got a heavyweight box. So what you're going to do, you're going to choose either one of those two subscriptions. I recommend going with the heavyweight box because it's worth its weight. Believe me, it's worth the price of admission. You're going to choose the heavyweight box. Then you're going to check out, and you're going to enter the coupon code JD from NY, and you're going to save 20% off your first subscription, man. So that's thatwrestlingclub.com, code JD from NY, save 20% off, and then you're going to go on social media. You're going to follow them on Twitter, That Wrestling Club on Twitter, and you're going to tell them, listen, JD from hashtag Off the Script sent me. I love your product. I signed up because of him. So that's what you guys are going to do. So let's open this up, man. I cut it open already because these things are a pain in the ass to get open. And, ooh, it's a Halloween-themed box, bro. I see some candy in here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What do we got here? Please, this is a medium. Bro, they gave me a medium. They gave me a medium. Who the fuck is this? What is this? I can't tell what this is. Oh, it's Marty Scurll. It looks like Marty Scurll. I think so. I might have to look at the cheat sheet, but one night. What the fuck does that say? I can't read, dude. All Hallows Eve. I guess that's what that says. Got a Marty Scurll mask on it, but yep, it is a Marty Scurll because I see the whoop whoop over there. Nice t-shirt, man. You can see the design on the t-shirt, man. It's fucking great. I'll wear that out. I'll wear that out to the bar, bro. I order a nice pumpkin ale. So we got a Marty Scurll t-shirt in the crate this month. We have a zombie Shinsuke Nakamura, man. Look at that. Shinsuke Nakamura's never looked better, bruh. Look at that. Very detailed. Very nice there, man. And as you guys can see, oh my goodness, man. Charlotte Flair's never looked better. Look at that. There's a zombie Charlotte Flair, too. There's a zombie Matt Hardy, a zombie Jeff Hardy, and a zombie Kane, man. Those are fucking detailed. That's fucking great. These are WWE licensed figures from Mattel. I don't even know they did this shit, man. Whenever he walked down the aisle, everyone cheered the King of Strong Style. When he hit a knee strike, a zombie took a bite. Now the artist will be undead for a while. It's going right on my wall, man. As you guys can see, on the opposite end of this wall over here, I got all my pictures there. I got Pentagon, Sammy, Cody. I got the Young Bucks, Tessa, Matt, Candice, who a lot of you guys are, we'll talk about that in a second. Candice LeRae. A lot of people woke up this morning. I'm recording this on Thursday. I did my NXT review on Wednesday. A lot of you guys woke up today saying that, you know what, JD? I think Candice is the one who did it. I think Johnny's covering for Candice. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then Edge, man. And then on the opposite side of that, I got all my WWE action figures lined up on the wall. So I'm going to add this one right there, man. I love that. Great shit there. We got an Asuka pin. Only available in that wrestling club, man. It's going right on my wall of pins behind me, as you guys can see. It's Halloween, a lot of people's favorite holiday, man, just because of the entire, aspect of dressing up and being something that you normally can't be during the year. I enjoy the fall season for a nice cold pumpkin lager or pumpkin ale, and I love sitting with the nice brisk, cool breeze of the fall season, enjoying a nice pumpkin spice latte. I'm a fucking loser when it comes to that. But we got candy. We got Reese's, and you guys don't know candy bars, man, if you don't know Crackle. This is fucking great. It's got Rice Crisps in it. I love it. And this is another one, man. My grandpa used to buy this all the time. Chocolate with peanuts. He used to love peanuts, man. He loved unsalted peanuts. That was his favorite snack. Mr. Goodbar, man. Chocolate with peanuts. There you go. Probably not going to eat it because I've been kind of trying to eat better, and I've been working out and exercising. Not really showing, but... better to be healthy than not. And we got an autograph here. Oh, man. It's very generic. Can't we get somebody that's, not Halloween related? I got so many fucking Papa Shango pictures, man. I don't even like Papa Shango. There you go. Papa Shango. Sign. That's probably the best looking picture that I've gotten so far. It's probably worthy of being hung up. Just got to get a frame for it. So there you go. What is this? The List of October. This is the cheat sheet. What the fuck was that shirt? It was a Marty Scurll t-shirt. There you go. And as you can see there, you see the authentic Papa Shango autograph. You see him actually signing it. There you go. So that was in the heavyweight box. The cruiserweight box only came with the t-shirt, the zombie figure, the bag of candy. Oh, what is this? Is there an Alistair Black artwork? What the fuck? Oh shit, there's something else in here. If I can get it out. Oh, man, that's fucking great. Man, that's awesome. Especially after what he did on Wednesday, man. Alistair Black is probably the biggest babyface in the entire fucking WWE right now. Holy shit. Man, that was an awesome box. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to I was going to say Pro Wrestling Crate. That's tomorrow. Thank you to That Wrestling Club. You guys are always awesome. You always take care of me. And if you guys want to sign up, man, thatwrestlingclub.com. Use code JD from NY at checkout for 20% off, man. Obviously, Monday Night Raw featured an emotional Roman Reigns and him relinquishing the Universal Championship. SmackDown Live absolutely did nothing for anything that's coming up. WWE Evolution is coming up, and you think WWE would feature that in the main event? Of course not. They gave you a throwaway match that meant absolutely nothing to anybody, a complete waste of everybody's time. Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. And WWE only built the match between Charlotte and Becky Lynch, which, quite frankly, I'm getting tired of. And I hope that this is the last match. And I hope that Becky goes over. SmackDown Live did nothing for Evolution. And we're going to rant on that tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the All Evolution preview and predictions. So Evolution right now is not sitting well with me. And I want to, normally I don't watch really anybody in the community, but I was tipped off by my good friend Jesse. And he told me that Luke Owens shit all over SmackDown Live on Wrestle Talk. So I went to go watch his 5-minute review of SmackDown Live, and it's so pleasing to hear other people complaining about how piss poor WWE Evolution has been booked, and how that was a go-home show for the biggest women's show that WWE is supposedly putting on, and they just are not caring about anything. The little effort or the lack of effort going into the show is downright disgusting. And SmackDown did nothing to build towards anything. They built the entire show around Crown Jewel. We had Shane McMahon come out making statements about the World Cup. Who the fuck cares? Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles and their ongoing issue, which, it's AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, and I could not care any less than I do already with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan and the lack of storytelling going into there. And I told you, I've been telling you, the more money this company makes, the quality of the shows are going to get worse. That was an absolute fucking must-see statement with SmackDown Live. They're making more money than ever before, and that's the show that we get heading into Evolution this Sunday. The quality of the shows are complete fucking garbage, the more money that they make. That could not be any more truer than what we've seen on SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live was fucking terrible. They should be goddamn ashamed of the show that they put on and the lack of effort towards WWE Evolution, which, like I said, we'll talk about that on Saturday. NXT blew everybody away, man. NXT was so good this week. Adam Cole versus EC3. EC3 got a huge win. Undisputed Era got their heat back at the end of the match by attacking EC3. I don't know what it is with EC3, man. There were chants of thank you, Bobby, as he attacked EC3 on the knee with a steel chair. EC3 is just not as over as people think he is, but it was a big win for him, and he needed that win over Adam Cole. So Adam Cole is pretty much immune right now to anything. He can do no wrong. That's how over Undisputed Era is, but EC3 needed that big win, so he got that big win on NXT. And then obviously the big story was Johnny Gargano. Supposedly, at this point in time, right now, we are all assuming that Johnny Gargano is the one who attacked Alistair Black. This 2-month-long storyline of who did it. Who was the one? Who was the culprit? Who attacked Alistair Black? Alistair Black came back and asked Nikki Cross to reveal the name of the person. He went into a fit of rage. He started convulsing in the middle of the ring, just seething with anger. So Nikki came out through most of the show saying he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. And then in the last segment of the show, he's here, he's here, he's here. He destroyed security in and around Full Sail University. He charged to the ring when William Regal was about to make the announcement for the NXT title match at War Games. And he took William Regal by the suit jacket and yelled in his face, "Where is he? Where is he? Where is he?" And Johnny Gargano appeared from the crowd, ran into the ring, super kicked Alistair Black, and took the microphone and said, "I'm right here." And dropped the microphone as NXT went off the air. I thought this was a brilliant move. I'm going to let this play out. And I made mention of it that Johnny, if not the culprit, was pretty much doing nothing. And all the work that Johnny has done this year and all the work that WWE has put into Johnny, you can't have him lingering, just waiting around until Tommaso Ciampa, runs through a few guys and then they meet again during TakeOver WrestleMania weekend. You can't do that. So why not, if you can't beat him, join him? That's the type of situation that I'm looking at here. Plus, we get Johnny Gargano versus Alistair Black, which I've always wanted to see more of, especially in a one-on-one capacity. We may be getting that at War Games. They may actually tear the fucking house down. They may tear the entire house down. So I'm looking forward to that. Plus, if you've been monitoring Tommaso Ciampa's social media, he's been kind of indirectly talking about Johnny Gargano, and he said that he's very proud of what Johnny Gargano did. The fact that he took it upon himself and did it yourself. And he said it brought a tear to his eye. So we may be looking at a reformation of DIY as heels. We may be looking at a new stable, because I don't think Johnny Gargano is the only one who did it. I think Johnny Gargano and his actions were covered up by other people. Mainly, I named Cassius Ohno. I think Cassius Ohno knew about the attack, and I think he withheld information from William Regal. And I think Cassius Ohno is going to be involved in this entire thing. Or at least I hope so. Just by what we've seen on television, it certainly could appear that way. And like I mentioned before, a lot of people woke up on Thursday telling me that they think Candice LeRae did it, and Johnny is covering for his wife. Now, that would be an interesting situation, because Johnny and Alistair, there's a feud right there. Candice could be set up with Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is an unbelievable babyface right now. And WWE, I don't really know. They got more heels on the women's roster than they do babyfaces. Kairi Sane, and they got Mia Yim, who just debuted on Wednesday. They got Nikki Cross. Then they got Bianca. They got Lacey. Candice could fill into that heel role. Shayna's going to get called up from NXT to the main roster after Evolution. No question. There's nothing more for Shayna Baszler to do in NXT, so she's getting called up. She's going to be put on Monday Night Raw with Ronda Rousey. So it would not be out of the realm of possibility for them to turn Candice LeRae heel and have her battle Nikki Cross. For what Nikki Cross has done and the actions that she has, portrayed on NXT television. It's not out of the realm of possibility. We could be looking at a super group right now in NXT. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Cassius Ohno, and then Candice LeRae. Yeah, that's not that bad, if you ask me. But Johnny was supposed to win the title. Johnny should have won the title. He should have won the title in Philadelphia in January. He was never as hot as he was then. We got great matches with he and Ciampa, but with Ciampa just becoming this unearthly, ungodly fucking character on NXT television, there was no way you were going to take the title off him. So no matter how good Johnny has been all year, there's no way you could possibly think of giving the title to Johnny Gargano, because then you would harm Tommaso Ciampa. And Tommaso Ciampa is the best at what he's doing right now. If you're the best at what you do, you need to be rewarded for your work. Simple as that. And Johnny, being that he was supposed to be in a triple threat match with Alistair Black and Tommaso Ciampa, Alistair Black got hurt. And it fucked up everything. Because at that point, WWE could have given us a way different outcome than what we've seen in Brooklyn with Ciampa and Gargano. If Alistair Black was there, the entire story would have been vastly different. And Alistair Black, going into that match, was as hot as ever, because he was working with Gargano and Ciampa, who were completely on a whole other level compared to anyone else in the entire WWE. But when Alistair Black was NXT champion, it was one of those title reigns that was like, It was an afterthought. Ciampa and Gargano were on such another level that they overshadowed everything with the NXT championship. Not something that I like to see, but there was no way around it. Sometimes the storytelling is so great, sometimes the matches are so fucking on another planet that sometimes the title, in this case, or someone else, the champion, Alistair Black, took a back seat. So, with the work that they did, and Alistair Black getting hurt, this was a blessing for Alistair Black to go away for a little bit. And you got to give credit to WWE Creative for coming up on the fly with something that intrigued everybody. And here we are in the payoff, and Alistair Black is as hot as he's ever been in his entire NXT run. And we're getting a Johnny Gargano, presumably, Johnny Gargano versus Alistair Black match at TakeOver. You can't go wrong with that, man. You can't go wrong with that whatsoever. I love it. And who's to say where the story goes from here? This opens up a whole world of possibilities for WWE. And I don't want to talk about this too much because I want to get on with the show. but this is how excited I am about NXT right now. War Games is going to be out of this world. Who's to say, with all the possibilities with Johnny Gargano turning heel, who's to say that Johnny Gargano isn't working closely with Tommaso Ciampa to kind of get in with him and weaken him from inside? You know? Like Randy Orton was doing with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. That's what I see similarity-wise here. Randy Orton was getting inside the Wyatt family so that he could get close to Bray Wyatt and get close to the WWE Championship, and then when the moment presented itself, strike and then take down the head of the snake. That's what I see here. Maybe Johnny Gargano is doing what he has to do. If you can't beat him, join him mentality. Getting close to Tommaso Ciampa so that in the end, when the opportunity is right, he can cut off the head of the snake and take what he believes is his, the NXT Championship. And he had to betray Alistair Black along the way because he didn't want Alistair Black involved. He didn't want a triple threat match. He wanted Tommaso Ciampa one-on-one. And he failed. And his failures are now reverting him to follow the same footsteps as Tommaso Ciampa. Or another situation which I brought up, and I know Shawn Michaels is coming back for way more than one match. WWE's already talked about Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement. He will definitely be going one-on-one with The Undertaker. I could see Shawn Michaels versus Daniel Bryan. I could see Shawn Michaels versus AJ Styles. I could see Shawn Michaels versus Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano can be so obsessed with wanting the NXT Championship that maybe Shawn Michaels gets involved. Shawn Michaels and Triple H have been working very closely with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Maybe Shawn Michaels comes out and he is presented on NXT TV and he tries to snap some sense into Johnny Gargano and it leads to a match at TakeOver. And Shawn Michaels, but listen to this. Shawn Michaels wrestling Johnny Gargano at TakeOver to go head-to-head with New Japan and Ring of Honor at Madison Square Garden, which is completely, reasonable. I could see WWE doing that. Johnny Gargano versus Shawn Michaels at TakeOver, WrestleMania weekend, and then Shawn Michaels wrestles not only at TakeOver, but at WrestleMania against AJ Styles. So we could see Shawn Michaels versus Johnny Gargano and Shawn Michaels versus AJ Styles the same weekend. And then we get Shawn Michaels versus Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, man. It is all very much doable. So let me know what you guys think about all that, man. I am fucking super excited about this. I love Johnny Gargano, just as much as everybody else who loves that underdog babyface who's wanted to see him fucking overcome all odds and just win the NXT Championship and have that great moment for himself. Can't have that great moment, man. This is exactly what I've talked about with Roman Reigns. WWE is doing with Johnny Gargano what they should have done with Roman Reigns many, many years ago. Johnny Gargano, you could see, was not as hot as he was. And for WWE to get Johnny back to where he was, he's got to take a walk on the dark side. They're having him walk the dark side, and then when he turns back to babyface, he's going to be more over than he ever was. So that's what's going to happen with NXT, man. That's what's happening with the main storyline of NXT. That's what should have happened with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns should have took a walk on the dark side, then he would have been over. That's how I feel about everything. Seriously. But that was your week in NXT, man. That was your week in NXT. I loved it. Mae Young Classic was fantastic. Toni Storm is an absolute fucking stud. She's a superstar. That match with Mako, man. Go out and watch the match with Mako. Believe me, the best women's match of the entire year for WWE. Nothing even comes close. Charlotte and Asuka was not better than Mako versus Toni Storm. So, don't at me. Don't at me. Mako and Toni blew everybody away this year. Just the way it is. I have no other words for it. Go watch it. I can't do it justice. We got Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. Mae Young Classic final. That's happening on Sunday. I look for them to steal the show, but I have a deep, suspicious feeling that WWE is going to handcuff them because, believe it or not, Evolution is a fucking failure in itself, so why not spread that failure all around the rest of the show? WWE may not want Toni Storm and Io Shirai to outshine everybody else on the main roster, so they may suppress them. They may put the shackles on them, which I hope is not the case, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. So it's Toni versus Io in the Mae Young Classic final for the Evolution pay-per-view. We'll go over all that on Saturday with the preview and predictions. Let's go over all this Roman Reigns talk, man. I got a ton of Roman Reigns news. We're going to hit it right now on Off the Script. Let me take a sip of my water, man. I've been doing a lot of talking. And believe it or not, I do most of this shit in one take. I don't believe I do. I don't like taking a rest. I don't like taking a break. When I get rolling, when I get on a roll, I don't like to stop because then I lose my train of thought. So that's that. WWE. When did they find out? When did Roman Reigns find out that his leukemia was back? We're going to go in chronological order here, man, leading to when they first discovered this again, up to when Dean Ambrose turned heel on Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns had to make an incredibly difficult announcement on Raw this week as he pulled away his pro wrestling persona and admitted that he had leukemia and it was back. The amount of people that came to me and they expected me to say the same thing, and I will not do so. If it presents itself, then obviously I will attack with, ferocity. But a lot of people came to me and said that this was nothing but a work. This was all scripted. This is all planned. This is nothing but Roman Reigns and WWE trying to get him over in the most desperate way possible. I don't want to think that way. And I didn't think that way, and neither should you. Nobody should ever fuck with the word cancer, because cancer is the leading cause of death in this country, and I do not want to joke around or think about others joking around with someone who has cancer just for the sake of storytelling. That would be absolutely deplorable. So for everybody that came to me and said, JD, this is a work, JD, this is something that WWE is doing to get Roman Reigns over finally, cut the shit. I don't want to hear it. If by chance something is broken or news breaks or something looks fishy, I'll start to question it. But right now, I just hope Joe NOI gets better and is 100% healthy. And so should you. Cut the shit. He had to relinquish the Universal Championship, and after receiving a sea of hugs backstage, he exited the building. Dave Meltzer discussed Reigns' situation on the Wrestling Observer Radio, where he said, since we don't know exactly what type of leukemia he has, it makes it harder to tell what he'll be dealing with or the odds it will come back. Since Reigns is so young, he's 33 years old. The odds are probably higher that it will resurface again, although Meltzer did note that he'll have to ask around about the exact numbers. WWE obviously needs to make some changes, and it looks like they started to do that and go in that direction, with Elias turning babyface and then Dean Ambrose turning heel. But Meltzer continued to talk about when Reigns would have received the devastating news that the leukemia was back. He says, and I quote, obviously, they got the word probably before Friday because he was supposed to be back on the road by Friday, so that explains obviously why he wasn't at the house shows. He was at TV last Monday, so the diagnosis should have come in the last 6 days. I don't know during the day when there were different stories out about him, but I was asking around, and the response was, it will be addressed on the show. So I thought it was an injury, and I didn't think it would be this, end quote. And this is exactly what I heard. I heard that WWE, there was 2 stories that were breaking that day. One where John Cena and Daniel Bryan refused to work Crown Jewel for whatever reason. And then the other story was that Roman Reigns is working hurt. So I kind of brushed it off because this is not something that is rare. Wrestlers are banging their bodies around. Wrestlers are on the road 6 days a week, 7 days a week. Clearly someone's going to be hurt, or clearly someone's going to be banged up. And it's not the first time Roman Reigns has been working banged up. So I'm like, he'll be all right. There's no way he's missing Crown Jewel. He'll be fine. Or they'll rest him. They'll give him a few days off in the house shows. They won't make him wrestle on Raw. And he'll be back good, better than ever. Good as new on the following Monday. So I really didn't think much of it. So when he came out on Monday, and he came out in street clothes, I mentioned this on Monday, Roman usually, even when he's not wrestling, and I used the last example of when he was suspended by Vince McMahon. He was suspended by Vince McMahon, and he came out wanting to get his hands on Brock Lesnar. He came out in wrestling gear. Now, he was suspended. The next week he comes back, he enters through the crowd, he don't have a fucking ticket, he's wearing wrestling gear. Now, if he was suspended and not a part of the roster for a week, then he should have came out in street clothes. Roman is always ready to work. He's always in the vest, he's always in the pants, he's always in his wrestling gear. So when Roman came out on Monday wearing jeans, shoes, a black t-shirt, and a gold chain, you kind of knew something was fucked up. And moments before he made the announcement, I actually tweeted on social media, I'm like, Roman kind of looks like he's going to relinquish the fucking title. So I was thinking maybe the injury is as bad and he's going to take 6 to 8 months off. Nobody knew that he was going to say, I battled leukemia and I've been in remission for the last 11 years and now it's somehow back. I don't think anybody realized that. And then that's when, people on social media were attacking guys like me. How could you fucking talk shit about him all these months and all these years? You made a living off Roman Reigns. First of all, motherfucker, I didn't make no living off Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is not the end-all be-all for what I do. Roman Reigns is not the end-all be-all for the hard work that I did to build my business, to build my channel to 100,000 subscribers, okay? Roman Reigns was around for the last 4 years. And I've been doing this for quite some time now, okay? And I'm finally reaping the benefits of it. Roman Reigns has nothing to do with that. Roman Reigns is not the reason why I'm at 100,000 subscribers. Roman Reigns is a part of the business. Roman Reigns is a part of WWE. Would you like me to not talk about Roman Reigns when he's probably the most talked about fucking guy in the entire company? And there's always news around Roman Reigns, especially as Universal Champion? No, let me not talk about Roman Reigns when he main evented WrestleMania for the last 4 years. And he was in the main event of SummerSlam against the same guy he was in the main event with at WrestleMania, which has only happened twice in the entire history of this company. Yeah, let me not talk about Roman Reigns. Fuck out of here. People want to fucking attack me for attacking Roman Reigns for 4 years. You didn't know he had leukemia. Neither did anybody who was talking about him. But at least we are understanding and have the fucking common logic to separate real from fiction. Fuck out of here. So, Roman Reigns will be able to get leukemia treatment now that he's off the road, okay? We don't know what type of treatment he's going to be going for. We don't know how bad the situation is. Only time will tell. And only time will tell how WWE will fill his spot on the roster. But they obviously didn't have a lot of time to plan for Reigns' exit because nobody's seen this coming. Nobody's seen this coming. Now, I think WWE kind of had a feeling that something was wrong. And I think they were tipped off on Monday. Last Monday, Braun Strowman pretty much turned babyface. He left Ziggler and McIntyre, and he turned babyface. And he attacked both of them on Monday Night Raw. So maybe WWE had started their new plans in motion then. And this is one of the reasons why I attacked the Roman Reigns portrayal on WWE television. Look at Braun Strowman. Nobody has suffered more than Braun Strowman. Universal Championship, never won the title. He was probably the most organic over babyface outside Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. Genuine. People loved Braun Strowman. And then they turned him heel because they needed a heel to feud with Roman Reigns. A believable heel to feud with Roman Reigns. So they turned him when they didn't need to. They turned him when they should have never turned him. This is why I complain. And this is why I state the view that I do. Shit like that. Now they're reverting back to what they had, and they're trying to clean up the mess that trailed Roman Reigns. Now Braun Strowman's a babyface again. So Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman is now a babyface and was only used as a puppet to get Roman Reigns over. And to get the Shield back on TV when they didn't need to be back on TV. Seth Rollins also suffered from this as well. You think Seth Rollins and the Intercontinental Championship thrived by being in the Shield? Of course not. Seth Rollins was the hottest thing in the entire company back in April, May, June. And then all of a sudden, that was squashed. IC title suppressed. Seth Rollins' push derailed. Why? Because he's standing behind Roman. When Rollins should be standing on his own. Rollins is good enough, if not better, to be cast as the Universal Champion. So, you could see why I was frustrated with the portrayal and the character development of Roman Reigns. A lot of it was bad. A lot of it led to bad. This is bad for Joe and a Y. I don't want anybody to be suffering from fucking cancer. But the portrayal of the character on television was completely nauseating. It was garbage. And believe me, I may have a soft spot for whatever is happening here now because I don't want to see anybody suffer. I mentioned on Monday Night Raw that we welcome these people into our homes every fucking Monday. It's like they're a part of my fucking family, no matter how much I love or hate the show. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I'm a Roman Reigns fan now. No, I'm not. No, I'm a Joe Anoa'i fan. I'm not a Roman Reigns fan. I will never be a Roman Reigns fan. Just the way the cookie crumbles. So when Roman Reigns comes back, it's not going to be Joe Anoa'i who's back. It's Roman Reigns who's back. And when Roman Reigns is starting to get pushed the way he was before he went out, you can damn well guarantee I'm going to be here calling them out on their shit. Don't get it fucked up. So that's when they discovered Roman Reigns had leukemia. Or it returned. So, when did the roster find out about Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns' announcement that he has leukemia and that he must vacate the Universal Championship to fight the disease was a bombshell announcement that nobody in the WWE, especially on the roster, was prepared for. Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that he had called previously in the day to check up on the rumors of Roman being injured, to which he received replies saying that the subject will be addressed on the show. Therefore, it's exactly unclear how deep the information got backstage, but he expanded on when the locker room found out. He says, and I quote, as far as the talent goes, I'm sure the talent learned when he gave the speech. I'm pretty sure of that. Creative knew there was an issue, obviously, because they had to redo the show. So they knew that there was an issue. Meltzer didn't want to guess if creative knew the exact reason for the changes on Raw this week, but they knew that they had to change the show. So there were those backstage who knew something was up, but they didn't know exactly what. It was noted that Roman Reigns will continue on raising money for leukemia research and use his celebrity status to get more exposure as well. But the most important thing is that he has to fight leukemia and beat it. Brian Alvarez explained on Wrestling Observer Live exactly how many people were smartened up about Reigns' awful announcement, and it turns out that not too many people had any idea what was happening. He says, and I quote, I am told that a very small amount of people knew beforehand, probably between 6 and 8 of the top executives. So when the show opens and the announcers are all happy talking about Roman Reigns defending the title at Crown Jewel, none of that was put on, and the reactions from Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Renee Young, where Corey Graves seemed choked up and it looked like he was about to cry, all of that was genuine. No one knew outside of Vince McMahon and I'm sure his crew. None of them had any idea what was going on until he went out there and did his speech, and he has gone home since then, and that's the story. I guess we'll just have to find out how well his treatment goes. The second battle. It's worrisome. End quote. So, nobody knew. Nobody knew. Obviously, the people who run this place knew, because Roman is not going to... I would assume Roman told them what was going on, and, you know, he wanted to keep it away from the roster because he didn't want to put a damper on everybody working. You got to go out there and work. You got to go out there and perform and put smiles on people's faces. Roman didn't want to bring any negativity to the locker room or to the roster when they have a job to do. How would you feel if your best friend, your fucking colleague that you've known all these years is battling cancer and is going to be taking time away for an extended period of time? We don't know how long, and he's got to drop the bomb on everybody, and then you got to go to work the next day. You're going to feel like shit. So he told who he needed to tell, the people in charge. They told him to go out there, relinquish the title, say what you got to say, and everybody else found out on Monday Night Raw. He didn't want to damper the entire week. Which, now the announcement's made, and I'm sure everybody feels sad, but they'll hit Monday Night Raw with a new sense of let's do this. Let's get out there and fucking do this for Roman. Let's get out there and fucking show Vince that we're all fucking hungry, So Roman and the announcement was found out by everybody as it was happening, which is probably the best way to go about it if you're Roman Reigns. What Roman Reigns will go through to beat leukemia. This is actually in the news. And Roman Reigns, as you guys know, had a battle with leukemia for 11 years. He was in remission, and now it is back. The first time he beat it, and it came at a time when football didn't want him, but WWE did. And this is why he stated in the promo that WWE gave him a home. Now, the leukemia is back. He had to relinquish the Universal title and go home to beat this disease. It's impossible to know exactly what Reigns is dealing with because there are different types of leukemia, according to WebMD. Now, if you guys want to go to WebMD and you guys want to get a case of fucking, scares, you read WebMD, everything's fucking wrong. You got everything. So don't do it. But according to WebMD, the type of cancer shows signs, if not first detected in a blood test, of a person appears pale, has enlarged lymph nodes, swollen gums, an enlarged liver or spleen, significant bruising, bleeding, fever, persistent infections, fatigue, or a small pinpoint rash. Chemotherapy will need to happen, which means that Reigns will most likely lose his hair due to the treatments. This is due to the fact that the chemotherapy treatments targets all rapidly dividing cells, no matter if they are healthy cells or cancer cells. Since hair is one of the most rapidly dividing cells in the body, the chemotherapy usually causes the hair loss because those follicles are attacked in the process. According to Cancer Care Northwest, chemotherapy is typically given in cycles, which is a treatment followed by a period of rest. A cycle can last 1 or more days, but it's usually 1, 2, or 3, or 4 weeks long. A course of chemotherapy is comprised of multiple cycles. Each course is different, but generally consists of 4 to 6 cycles. This is Reigns' second round with the disease. As he stated, he quickly brought leukemia into remission 11 years ago. But now that it's back, as Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, the fact that it's coming back for Roman might mean he's in for a very hard fight with the disease. Because normally, according to some, that if you had it the first time, beat it, it usually comes back more aggressive. Again, if it does kind of show up. So, it's his second round with it. And Meltzer stated on Wrestling Observer Radio, and I quote, "There's different forms of leukemia that have different dangers, and it hasn't been released what he has. I think they're going to keep it private. I honestly don't think that we're going to find out what's really wrong with him. They're going to keep it private the best that they can. So it's kind of hard to say what is really going on without knowing more. For leukemia in general, it's a 57% chance of surviving 5 years ago, so it's a touch-and-go thing. He's young, he's strong, he's got a daughter. I think he's going to make it. I think he'll beat the odds, but there's no knowing. There is something that you're essentially born with, or this is something that you're essentially born with a certain DNA that leads to this. I mean, he had it before, and the thing that sucks is a lot of people, I remember Ed Cohen, because Roman is 33 years old, and he had it twice now, and I remember with Ed Cohen who had cancer, it wasn't leukemia. But if you have it at a young age, I think the odds of it coming back again are probably pretty good, which really sucks. End quote. So that was Dave Meltzer talking about, the possibility of Roman and the chances for survival and, what he's going to be going through, and him kind of comparing it to Ed Cohen who had cancer. Hopefully Roman Reigns will be able to beat leukemia again and it never comes back. In an ideal world, this would have never happened, and Roman Reigns would still be an active WWE superstar. But for now, like I said, we as a community have gathered together and are banding together to support Roman Reigns and send him our thoughts and prayers. Joe Anoa'i, I believe he will beat this leukemia second time around. I got a text from, with the Roman Reigns announcement, which was just very heartbreaking. I seen on Raw when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose came out. He had this stone cold face. It looked like he was trying to fight back the tears. Because I can't really see Dean. I see Dean Ambrose and I see a guy who is very, I can't cry. And then Seth Rollins, looks like he's the type of guy that wears his emotions on his sleeve. And I seen Rollins and Ambrose and Reigns do the Shield, pose on stage, and I seen Rollins start to cry, and then at that point, even with Roman making the announcement, I was more shocked than anything, but then when I seen Seth Rollins start to tear up, then I started to tear up, because I thought, at that point, you kind of knew this was fucking real. And you didn't know what the fuck was going on. Now, I got a text yesterday right before NXT. I was watching NXT UK at 6 o'clock, and then I kind of went into 205 Live, and then NXT, and then the Mae Young Classic. That's my 4-hour block of just relaxation on Wednesdays. My best friend Pete texted me, and I graduated with Pete in 2000 from Mount St. Michael Academy in the Bronx. And we were part of the same graduating class. We sat together in every homeroom because, his last name and my last name were back-to-back every single year. So he became my best friend. I've known him since 1996. He knows me better than anybody. He's one of the very, 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 very few people that I kept in contact with as we graduated high school and we, grew up into adults and got real-life jobs. And he texted me yesterday, and he told me some bad news, man, that I started to really, really fucking tear up and think about, because it just really put everything into perspective, man. On top of the Roman Reigns announcement, my friend Pete tells me that someone that we graduated with, Tommy Beater, he was in our graduating class at Mount. And I remember seeing him from time to time in the Bronx, in and around the Morris Park area. And I know he used to work for Con Ed. And I remember him when I went to school. He was just always full of life. He was always excited. He was very vibrant. He was in the best possible way for me to put it, man. It was he was kind of like a clown. He was like a class clown. He was always like out there, but he had this fun-loving attitude that was just very infectious. And, that made for, you always kind of wanting to be around him, because he was very unpredictable. You didn't know what he was going to say. You didn't know what he was going to do or how he was going to act. It was always a good time around him. He was one of those guys that you felt happy to be around. Even if you didn't like him, he was just like out there, And I remember he was a big Mets fan, and I remember he was a huge wrestling fan. And that's where our friendship, had some common ground, because he was a Mets fan and I was a Braves fan. So back in high school, the Mets and Braves were bitter rivals. They're not as bitter as rivals as they are now, then, but, that competitive aspect was always a good part of the friendship. We always had something to talk about. We always had baseball to rely on, right? And then wrestling. We always, we were in high school. We were in the midst of the Monday Night Wars. You had your guys watching WCW Nitro and watching the NWO do their thing. And then I was always watching Monday Night Raw because I didn't want to turn away from USA Network. I didn't really feel the need to watch two shows at the same time. My parents wouldn't tape one so I could watch one the next day. I always had to stick with Raw. I was a WWE guy through and through, so we also had a common ground on wrestling. My friend Pete texted me yesterday, and he's my age. I'm 36. And he texted me saying that he passed away. And he had a form of brain cancer that spread to his spine. And I went to his Facebook page, and everybody was paying their respects to him and just, leaving Facebook messages about, how great of a person he was and how wonderful he was. It was just heartbreaking to see, Facebook posts from his mother, that she has to lay her son to rest. It should never be that way, man. You should be living a full life, and you should be the one to take care of your parents at the end. It's just so heartbreaking to find out that a mother has to bury her son, And I looked at pictures of him in his last few days, man. It was just so fucking heartbreaking how this disease just deteriorated him into something that I don't want anybody to ever go through, man. The pictures that I seen of him, man, were completely different than what I remember of him the last time I seen him. It was just ridiculous. And I couldn't help but fucking cry, man. I remember, I was watching NXT last night, and then I seen Adam Cole and EC3 in the ring, and I wanted to pay attention to the match, but I couldn't because I was scrolling through Facebook to see all the fucking pictures and all the great moments that he had shared. And I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, man, this is a guy my age, 36 years old. This could literally happen to anybody, man. And it just puts everything into full perspective. And my best friend is telling me, he's like, dude, just go to the doctor and get checked out. I don't need you leaving me, And it just sucks, man. It really does. And if you guys are battling through something like that, or know anybody going through that, I feel sorry for you, man. It's just so fucking heartbreaking. I can't help but fucking tear up when I hear shit like that and I see shit like that. So, Just to know that he was in my graduating class, it's just ridiculous. You know, that could be anybody. And I don't know how anything happened. I knew he was in the hospital, and I thought he was gonna beat it. You know, I thought he was in the hospital for other reasons, but apparently, you know, that's the way it ended up being. And you know, I'm gonna dedicate this podcast Friday, Saturday, Sunday to him, and I want to wish. I doubt they're listening to me, but I want to wish, you know, my thoughts and prayers. Send my thoughts and prayers to him and his family, and I hope he rests easy. You know, he's in pain no more, man. But, you know, with the Roman Reigns announcement, then I got that, which leads me into this, man. You know, Roman Reigns is not the only member of the NOI family that is battling cancer. You know, cancer seems to be running rampant this week, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Former WWE star and one half of the Head Shrinkers, Samu, revealed on Facebook that he's battling stage 4 liver cancer. Samu noted that he's waiting on a liver transplant. He is Roman Reigns' cousin and godfather. He said the following, I quote, I want to take a minute to address the situation with myself and that of my family. I recently have posted I am selling shirts NOI Strong. These shirts have been for sale for many years, and in light of the current situation that has struck myself and my family, I've decided to change the shirts to various colors for cancer. My cousin's news has struck the world, and we are all devastated at this time. What many of you may not know is I am dealing with stage 4 liver cancer, and I'm currently waiting for God's grace to help me get a transplant. I am an elder member of my family, and in no way am I or my family attempting to profit from any serious sickness. Instead, I want to use our name in order to help the doctors and researchers find ways to cure this evil sickness. I do not endorse or will I ever endorse profit on the misfortune of others or myself or that of my family. I want to help all my friends, family, and fans to know we will always remain NOI Strong. And these shirts will remain for sale, and we'll be speaking with various cancer organizations on how we can help. Until you can stand in the shoes we stand in, you will never know the pain and struggle we endure daily. Respectfully, Samu, NOI. I hope that he gets his transplant very soon, man, because, you know, the amount of sadness that has overcome his family this week is just terrible. And again, thoughts and prayers go out to Samu, and I hope that he gets the transplant that he needs and he's able to live a strong and healthy life for the remainder of his years. So that's all I could say about that, man. I wanted to kind of bleed into that. And I wanted to mention that with the light of the Roman Reigns news. You know, he's not the only member of his family going through hardships right now. So I hope Joe and Samu come out of this stronger than ever, man. Back to talking about Monday Night Raw, man. Who will be the top guy in WWE after Roman Reigns' exit? This has been another hot topic of the week. With Roman Reigns not being on Monday Night Raw, they clearly need another top guy. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was the guy that we all wanted against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. We all wanted Seth to be the guy to take down the Beast. Seth Rollins certainly proved to be the guy earlier in the year, right before the summer hit, with Monday Night Rollins, man, putting on matches that you could not believe. That gauntlet match catapulted him into the fucking spotlight that he so desperately tried to reclaim ever since he went down with injury. And that's exactly what it did. And we all got on board with Monday Night Rollins. Roman Reigns, though, in Vince's eyes, is the face of the WWE. But now he's not going to be around, as he must go home to beat leukemia before returning. Dave Meltzer listed a few names during Wrestling Observer Radio of who could be the next top guy in WWE. Although, as we previously reported, he was very high on the idea of Drew McIntyre getting that spot, he continued to list off names. Unfortunately, he came up with many reasons why it will be so hard to replace Roman Reigns with the talent they have available. After all, a guy like Roman Reigns doesn't come around very often. Now, this is the list, and I'm going to cycle through everybody they mentioned. AJ Styles, they mentioned. And Dave Meltzer said he's too old, which I would not necessarily agree with, but then again, I kind of want to agree with. AJ is 40 years old. WWE needs to build for the future. Roman Reigns is 33. AJ is almost 10 years older than Roman Reigns. So you're not going to realistically build the future of the company around around AJ Styles to replace Roman Reigns. It's not going to happen. AJ may have a couple more years left in him. We don't know. Competing at the level that he is now. So AJ Styles, yes, the name looks great on paper, but I don't think it would be AJ Styles. Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's one-dimensional. And I don't know if he can be the stopgap guy. I don't see him as the long term, but perhaps they will be. He's the most popular guy right now, and he's back to being babyface. I don't think Braun Strowman is the guy either. Braun Strowman fits into that mold of must-see because of his size and his strength and the things that he can do as a big man. I don't see Braun Strowman as a number one guy in a company. Braun Strowman is I don't want to use this in a negative way. I'm just trying to use this as an example of, what Braun Strowman kind of portrays. He's like a circus freak. He's a giant fucking guy who can do unearthly fucking things. And I don't see Braun Strowman headlining WrestleMania giving you that number one guy feel. I just don't see it. Braun Strowman has a role, and his role is not to be the number one guy in the company. Ricochet. He could be one of the biggest stars in the company. I've mentioned this time and time and time again. Ricochet is in his 20s. Ricochet is AJ Styles 20 years younger. Seriously. Ricochet has all the tools to be a top guy in the company. If WWE managed or wanted to get behind Ricochet, Ricochet could be the guy that they need to be a number one guy. He's got every fucking tool in the book to be a number one guy. You got AJ Styles, you're looking at Ricochet, just a younger version of AJ Styles. I don't see why you wouldn't give Ricochet at least an opportunity to prove you wrong. Seth Rollins. Can't rule out Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is young. Seth Rollins is, arguably right now, the number one guy on Monday Night Raw. You might look at Dean Ambrose. You might look at Braun Strowman. There's really no Drew McIntyre. To me, Seth Rollins is the number one guy on Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins did the best work of his entire WWE career earlier in the year with the Intercontinental title. He could be a number one guy. We wanted him then, and I think with Roman out, now those same feelings are going to return with Seth Rollins. He's probably the most popular guy on the Raw brand, or has been the most popular guy on Raw. Maybe it's Seth Rollins. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Those are number one guys to me, if you ask me. Maybe not to you. Maybe not to the fucking idiot out there who wants to call them vanilla midgets. Tommaso Ciampa is one of the best things in the entire company. Okay? Johnny Gargano may be small, but the guy has a personality. The guy has must-see written all over him. The guy goes in there and delivers what you would expect from a number one fucking guy. The guy puts every fucking piece of his fucking soul in the ring. Blood, sweat, tears from Johnny in that ring. Same thing with Ciampa. They could be number one guys if you ask me, but is Vince McMahon going to give them the number one spot? No, he's not. He's not. Because Vince doesn't watch NXT. Vince doesn't know how good Johnny is. Vince doesn't know how good Ciampa is. Vince doesn't know how good Ricochet is. Vince don't watch NXT. Maybe that's a blessing in itself. Adam Cole. Someone I mentioned could easily be the number one guy. Adam Cole has everything you want as a number one guy. He's got the look. And I am going to sit here and say Adam Cole may be one of the best voices in all of WWE. One of the best promos in WWE. He's got charisma that you cannot teach anybody. He's got everything. The only thing that he doesn't have, and I know this is going to be an issue, which is it's a tired fucking concept. It's a tired aspect. It's a tired thought. He's too small. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if he's too small? You're going to deny Adam Cole greatness in this sport in which he's given his life to because he's too fucking small? It's just as bad as the fucking clowns who won't push Asuka because she doesn't speak English. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. They do one thing universally. The one language that they fucking speak universally. One language that we all understand. They are great at what they do in the world of professional wrestling. Adam Cole is no question a number one guy. But do you want to see him called up to Monday Night Raw? I don't. I think he needs to be right where he is in NXT. EC3. Meltzer says he has a presence, but I don't think his wrestling is good enough. It's not. He can talk. He stands there. He looks great. I don't feel like he's good enough to be this guy or the top guy, even though he's good at certain things. He's got a great look, great presence. I don't know. It's an interesting option down the line. I don't think EC3 has got any number one guy written all over him. He's got aspects of a number one guy, but he doesn't have it. He's got the look, he has the presence, but he doesn't have the wrestling ability. You gotta have all those tick marks, all those check marks. He checks off some of them, but he don't. He don't do it. Same thing with Johnny. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you. Johnny has most of everything that you need in a top guy. The one thing that's holding him back is his size. But were they afraid to push Daniel Bryan to the top? Of course not. So why would you be afraid to push an Adam Cole or a Ricochet or a Johnny Gargano to the top? Why? These are characters that we all love and respect. They're ahead of the curve, right there. We all love and respect them. On top of being a number one guy, you got to be loved and respected. They have it. So I don't see why you wouldn't give them the opportunity. So it was noted that WWE has always had a Vince McMahon hand-picked guy leading the company for the last 20 years. Now it looks like the guy that Vince has been building up for years isn't going to be around. So they need to figure something out until Roman Reigns beats leukemia and makes his return as a full-fledged hero. So what does this mean? What does this mean? We got Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre. Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre are two of the names that are in the news quite a bit this week. WWE has a long-term plan for Drew McIntyre. As you can see on Monday Night Raw, they are definitely all in on Drew McIntyre. There's a lot of guys in WWE who could be top guys, but Roman Reigns held down the top guy position in WWE for a while, and it seems that Drew McIntyre's momentum is carrying on in spite of the fact that he and Ziggler dropped the Raw Tag Team titles this week on Raw in the main event. You know, Drew McIntyre was coined the chosen one by Vince McMahon. You know, it's such a coincidence that, you know, he was coined that early on, released, came back after doing work on the indies, looks better than fucking ever before. I mean, now it would be a beautiful fucking coincidence if that chosen one gimmick actually comes to be a real thing now in 2018, 2019. Vince could realistically be the one to choose Drew McIntyre as the number one guy to lead Monday Night Raw. What a funny coincidence that would be, right? That's why sometimes it's good going away. The heart or the absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's exactly what's happening here with Drew McIntyre. Dave Meltzer discussed this on Wrestling Observer Radio. Drew's long-term, and I quote, Drew's long-term plan is going to be as a babyface. I think that's pretty clear. The interesting thing is Roman had a position where he was the face of the company, and they have to have a face of the company. It's really interesting because you know they have such a limited viewpoint on who can be the face of the company. AJ is too old. You know there's always something with somebody. Roman ticks all the boxes, whether you love him or hate him. He ticks all the boxes. Drew McIntyre ticks all the boxes. It could be him. He mentioned Strowman's one-dimensional. Meltzer continued on with the rest of the list I told you. He continued to discuss Drew McIntyre's abilities on what makes him a logical choice to be WWE's next top guy, even though this will be an almost impossible target to hit, seeing how perfect for the role Roman Reigns is. And he goes on to say, and I quote, but as far as being the face of the company, McIntyre is a guy I could see because he's got good size, he's got a good body, he's a good-looking guy. He wrestles really well, he talks good, so that's the kind of boxes that they want punched, so I think he could be. But that's not going to be right away. I think he's going to be groomed for some time down the road where he's doing his Shawn Michaels Diesel thing with Ziggler, and he'll be Diesel, and hopefully he'll fare better than Diesel did in that same position, end quote. It was noted that even if you look at NXT and a guy like Ricochet who could do amazing things and an amazing job as the face of the company, he's still not ticking all the boxes. Well, you know, to be quite fair with Roman Reigns and Ricochet, Ricochet ticks as many boxes as Roman Reigns. You know, Roman Reigns ain't that great on the mic. Neither is Ricochet. But as far as all the other ticks that Roman Reigns checks off, Ricochet ticks off those same ones too. So, I don't understand that. You know, the amount of boxes that Adam Cole has ticked off are the same amount of boxes that Roman Reigns has ticked off. So I don't understand. It all comes down to favoritism. It all comes down to who Vince McMahon wants. Who Vince McMahon pitches the 10th for. Who Vince McMahon has the hardest cock for. That's all it comes down to. Believe it or not, you want real? That's the real thing. So, Roman Reigns' shoes will be very hard to fill. Yeah, we know that. Especially, everybody's talking like he's gonna retire. Roman Reigns is gonna be back. So, only time will tell how WWE is able to book their programming in the following weeks as they repair this huge gap in the roster. But we're pulling for Roman Reigns regardless as he continues an even more important fight outside of WWE. You know, a little side note here. Because I am going to take a break, and you guys are going to see a little edit in the video if you're watching on YouTube. Because I've went so far, I knew this was going to go long. We're at an hour and a half. There's a lot more to cover here. We're going deep into this motherfucker. Little side note, man. You know, with the state of Monday Night Raw now, I mentioned this on Raw, and I covered the review. I honestly think come 2019, we're not going to see no more brand split. I think the brand split's going to come to an end. I honestly think the way Monday Night Raw sits right now, they are in such a terrible state that there is no choice but to have, you know, the brands come back together. And it's even more apparent with Monday Night Raw being the way it is now. You look at October 2019 with SmackDown going to Fox Sports. Fox is going to want to line up the biggest and best show that they could possibly can. The biggest and best show that they're paying for. And WWE is going to need to oblige. They're going to need to sit there and figure out, well, you know what? We got to listen to these guys. They are our boss right now. So, I honestly could see the brand split going away. Which would make the entirety of WWE, you know, a lot better. Monday Night Raw wouldn't be half-assed the way it is now. And, you know, there is a negative with that. A lot of the guys that we want to see are not going to be featured. But are they even being featured now with the brand split? No! They're not. The opportunity that the brand split was to create has not been created yet. And we're 2 years plus deep into this shit. So, you know Fox is going to want the big names. You know, you look at SmackDown's roster, AJ, Andrade, Bryan, Orton, Nakamura, guys like that, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe. It's a great fucking roster. It's a great roster. But are you going to go out of your way to watch SmackDown Live on Fox Sports? Is Fox going to be like, well, you know, there's a great roster, but there's really nobody out there that's going to be grabbing people to watch the show. So people are going to want to see a Braun Strowman. People are going to want to see a Roman Reigns. People are going to want to see a, you know, Dean Ambrose and the guys like that. And, you know, people called up from NXT. Plus, Monday Night Raw right now sits without tag team champions or without a Universal Champion. So, the unpredictability of it right now looks great. But, in my honest opinion, you know, the shows or aspects of the show are suffering. The women's division is non-existent. They pay no attention to the women's division whatsoever. There's no need for 2 women's champions. There's no need for 2 Raw tag team champions. There's no fucking tag teams. There's no tag teams on these shows. You got 3 on SmackDown that are pushed week in and week out. And then you got 3, if you count the AOP, they weren't even on the show this week. 2, really, in McIntyre and Ziggler, who are not a real tag team. Ambrose and Rollins are broken up. AOP, the Revival, Gable and Rude aren't going to be together. These are wasted spots. If you join the fucking divisions together, if you join the rosters together again, all of your questions, all of your worries will go away in a puff of smoke. That's what they need to do. Honestly. I honestly think if you're looking for a number 1 guy, Stop thinking about a number one guy on a certain show. Let's get everybody together. I think it would be more apparent to find a number one guy if everybody is working together under one fucking brand. Especially with SmackDown going to Fox next year, I honestly think that the roster and the brand split will come to an end. And things will go back to normal. And I knew it wasn't going to work. So if it didn't work then, and it didn't work now, then we don't try it ever again. It looks good thinking about it, but has WWE maximized? Has WWE utilized all their talent to make it feel special? No. Now they're sitting on Monday Night Raw without Roman Reigns, without Kevin Owens, without Sami Zayn. Bobby Lashley's hurt. No women's divisions. No tag team division. So why not put the divisions and the shows back together as one? You want to avoid shit like this? Try and fix it next year going into Fox Sports and SmackDown Live. That's just my take on it. Seriously. So we're going to move on here, man. Dean Ambrose was actually supposed to take a heel turn. But when? When was it supposed to happen? Was it supposed to happen on Monday night? Or was it supposed to happen later on down the road? We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, man. I'm going to step away because I need to get a beverage because my throat is dry. I need to just take a walk. It's kind of hot in here. So I'm going to take a little break. What you guys are going to see is a little quick transition, and I'm going to come back right here on Off the Script. Once again, guys, make sure you get your 100,000 subscriber commemorative t-shirt on Barbershop Window, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Use the code BSHOP20 for 20% off as you see it right there. You got the new design, man. The Puppet Master JD. Very heavy metal-esque, man. If you guys want a closer look at it, there you go. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's continue on with the rest of the news to round out part one right here on Off the Script this weekend, man. We got news on Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose was supposed to turn heel. He was supposed to turn heel. After all the foreshadowing that was done on Monday Night Raw, he was supposed to turn heel. But when was he supposed to turn heel? Dean Ambrose turned heel on Raw this week, ending the question of when it would eventually happen. After all, he was supposed to turn heel around WrestleMania time, but he was out on injury and just returned recently. WWE really didn't do a good job at making Dean Ambrose feel special. They kind of went week by week by week and just kind of winged it with Dean Ambrose. And he was more intriguing when he didn't speak. And then WWE, they ruined that. They had him open his mouth for no reason whatsoever. I felt if they would have kept Dean Ambrose silent through all these weeks and then we seen the heel turn, man, that would have been brilliant television. Maintaining and being patient, Dean Ambrose not saying a goddamn word, letting his actions do the speaking for him, and then he pulls what he did on Monday Night Raw. I thought that would have been a lot better. But Dean Ambrose is now, regardless of everything that happened, is a heel on Monday Night Raw. He finally looks like a heel. But it had to happen on the night Roman Reigns started the show off by saying he was leaving WWE in order to focus on his health because the leukemia that he's been battling for 11 years is out of remission. Bryan Alvarez wasn't happy about the way WWE went about their booking decisions at all on Wrestling Observer Live and noted how serious the situation with Reigns could be, and it is. Then he revealed when Ambrose was actually supposed to turn heel on his brothers. And I quote, "He wasn't even supposed to turn heel on Raw. The actual plan was for him to go into Survivor Series and do it there, and they moved it up. And they specifically did it to capitalize on the emotions of a guy who's home to fight for his life." End quote. WWE has done a lot of distasteful things in the past, and the timing of Dean Ambrose's heel turn on the same night that Roman Reigns took his possible final bow in WWE was a really bad decision for a lot of fans. Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Ooh-hoo. Let me cry. Cry me a fucking river. Bad decision. What bad decision? You fucking kidding me? What, Roman Reigns the end-all, be-all of characters now that he's got to eventually bow out off WWE television? Come on, man, stop being a bunch of sensitive fucking pussies. This was great. When was the last time that you used the word brilliant on Monday Night Raw? I can't remember. Maybe when Rollins had the gauntlet match. That was a really good edition of Monday Night Raw. I thought that was brilliant booking by WWE to have him beat Cena and Reigns in the same night. That's a career-defining moment if you ask me. That's brilliant fucking storytelling. And when WWE doesn't have their heads up Vince McMahon's ass, they could possibly pull out good shows. This was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Why Dean Ambrose turned heel on Monday Night Raw? Dave Meltzer explained on Wrestling Observer Radio, this is a trend that WWE's made their own for years now. Therefore, it doesn't seem like they'll be changing up their ways anytime soon. Anytime soon. So, Dean Ambrose heel turn, it really made no sense to a lot of people. To some people it did, to some people it didn't. WWE was searching to get heat off of whatever they could, but this time the business could have waited. The Providence crowd ended their night shocked about what they have just witnessed as the Shield was shattered and broke apart piece by piece. Dave Meltzer says, and I quote, they live in a world where their fake world is more important than their real world. And when you think about, the things that you have to do like this, you do things like all of the decisions that they make, or many of the decisions that they make, it's kind of sad in that way. But this time, the real world infringed on their fake television show, and instead of respecting it, it's like the mentality is, okay, it sucks, it's sad, so how do we benefit from it? I was thinking that if he goes and gets cured, Reigns, and does get cured, and he comes back, it'll be a wonderful story, but I was thinking, how can we benefit from this in the next 2 hours? End quote. So, WWE decided to enrage the fans because the environment was already emotional. They gave Seth and Dean the Raw Tag Team titles, and then Dean turned on Rollins to leave him in a sad state, and the fans irate over WWE's decision to get heat off of this already terrible situation. I don't believe the fucking crying that is going on with this nonsense. I mean, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. WWE knew of this going into Raw. They clearly had to write the show before Roman Reigns made the decision. So they had Roman Reigns go out there. They already knew what they wanted to accomplish in the main event. Who the fuck is to say that Roman Reigns didn't give Rollins and Ambrose his blessing to continue the storyline until he comes back? Did anybody think that Roman Reigns would not give his blessing on that situation? Of course he gave his blessing. I would bet all the money in the world that Roman Reigns gave his blessing on Ambrose and Rollins continuing the show. And I don't understand this mentality. Does everybody want to live in a lackluster, boring situation, in a boring world in WWE? If you're watching this as a casual, you're not going to understand it. Wrestling fans understood why it was done and what the meaning of it meant. Dean Ambrose, WWE, by the way, has no fucking heels. Not one fucking heel on Monday Night Raw that we can honestly say, that guy's a fucking prick. Now they do. Strowman's not a heel anymore. McIntyre is a heel, but he's not going to be on the level of heel like a Dean Ambrose, right? Kevin Owens is gone. Bobby Lashley is fucking god-awful. He's got the personality of a fucking trash bag. Guy is terrible. You're going to look to him as being a heel, right? Bobby Roode is about to turn on Chad Gable. Who the fuck cares about Bobby Roode? There's nobody else on this show. WWE did what they had to do with what they have to work with. And what better way to create wrestling storylines and storytelling by using real life. Every time there's a dose of real life infused in something on television, it's automatically that much better. This was the perfect opportunity for WWE not only to make the heel turn mean something, because at this point, before Roman Reigns made the announcement, we were all expecting it, and it didn't have that big of a punch. People were expecting it, and when it did eventually happen, it would have been like, Dean Ambrose is heel. We knew it was coming because WWE foreshadowed it. Everybody felt, well, now if he turns heel, it's not going to be surprising anymore. WWE did all this talk about Ambrose turning heel, and they laid all the truth on Ambrose about why he shouldn't be aligning himself with Rollins and Reigns. And when it happens, it's going to be boring. It's not going to be surprising. It's not going to have an impact. But WWE turned all that around. They made me come out and admit I was wrong. It was still shocking. 100% shocking. So, the fact that they turned something that could have been catastrophically boring into still shocking, I got to give them kudos on that. And what better way than to play off the people and their real-life emotions, man? This was brilliant. People were already saddened and shocked by the announcement. And Dean Ambrose is going to come out there on that night and do what he did. That is so beautiful. That is beautiful storytelling. In the world of wrestling, when you want to make a good heel, that's exactly the blueprint that you need to go about, man. I wouldn't say it was one of the best heel turns of all time, but when you talk about, where Dean Ambrose has come from and all the opportunities that he's had to just kind of, admit to Dolph Ziggler that he was right about everything that he said, and then he does that. We're gonna tune into Monday Night Raw to find out why Dean Ambrose did what he did. This is beautiful television. Beautiful fucking television. I have nothing else to say about that. I don't know why anybody would be upset about it. Roman Reigns is going to be out. The show has to continue. The show has to go on. And why wouldn't you look? Alvarez says, how could we benefit from this? Or Meltzer said it. How could we benefit from it? What, are you going to sit and sulk? Yeah, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be depressed. But Roman Reigns isn't the end-all, be-all of this business. You have a show to produce. 3 hours every Monday, mind you. So, Roman Reigns is not going to end with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to be out. You got to continue your show. Why wouldn't you try and think of ways to benefit from it? You have to. It's just the way of life. You got to find ways to benefit from somebody else's misfortune. I'm not saying that I want Roman Reigns to be out forever, but you got to live with the fact that he's out. You can't sit there and be like, well, we're done. No, you can't do that. You got to go into it just thinking, well, how can we benefit from this now? How can we take this overwhelmingly fucking bad situation and turn it into good? They started with Dean Ambrose. They're off to the right foot, or they're off on the right foot. Now the rest of the roster needs to step up. They need to benefit from this. Everybody else that was held underneath Roman Reigns with that big fucking weight of him being on top, they got to step up. I loved it. So if everybody's saying, oh, this was bad, this was distasteful, this was disrespectful, fuck them. Fuck them. This was Wrestling 101. Suck it up, move it on, use it to benefit someone else. Dean Ambrose is going to be bigger than he ever was with this heel turn. Watch. There's no reason why anyone watching me or this program should be upset about the opinions or WWE using Dean Ambrose in that emotional moment. Perfect fucking wrestling storytelling. WWE has options now with the Raw Tag Team titles after Dean Ambrose turned heel. What are they going to do with the Tag Team titles? So we all know that this week was just an emotional roller coaster. We've heard from multiple fans at the event on social media that were tweeting out that they felt spiritually exhausted by the end of the night, and a lot of people could relate. A lot of people, honestly, on my Twitter wall, they were watching Monday Night Raw, and they didn't really care for anything after Roman Reigns made the announcement. After all, Raw kicked off with Roman Reigns and the unbelievably sad announcement that he's going on hiatus to battle leukemia. Dean Ambrose wasn't even supposed to turn heel yet, and WWE capitalized on the moment to bring heat to the situation. Now, Barn Burner's No Holds Barred podcast said that they heard a couple of interesting scenarios about the WWE and what they could do with this current situation with the remaining members of the Shield. But one thing is for sure, Seth isn't done with Dean yet. They said, and I quote, "We've mentioned the Raw Tag Team titles." Okay, so I've heard, I think this is Joe from the Barn Burners Fired Up podcast, or No Holds Barred podcast, rather. Joe has heard some scenarios, and he says, "I've heard some scenarios going around. Number one, they keep the titles with one guy, like it's a tag team match fighting for the titles, or they're doing a tag team tournament, and who knows who wins that whole thing." End quote. He continued on saying, "Now, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins will have a feud now, and I believe they will go until March or April over the Intercontinental title." Now, it was noted that the WWE isn't doing much with AOP, and they have a couple of teams who could be deserving of holding the titles as well. The Revival. Revival, I think. But it doesn't look like Dean and Seth will be able to work together very well after Ambrose's unexpected and ill-timed, quote-unquote, heel turn. WWE has no tag teams in the division on Monday Night Raw. You look at it, they got the Ascension. They got the B team. They got McIntyre and Ziggler. They have AOP. They have the Revival. That's it. There's 5 teams. Not enough to do a tournament. Seriously, not enough to do a tournament. I honestly wish that WWE would honestly join the rosters together and we would get a tournament. I would open this tournament up to SmackDown as well. I would open the tournament up to both brands, and being that Ambrose and Rollins really right now are no longer a tag team, they have the belts, but they're not a fucking tag team after the situation that happened on Raw. I honestly think that they should hold a tournament with other teams being able to vie for the tag team titles, and if that team wins, then they get shifted over to Monday Night Raw. Trade could be made, you know, you got teams like Sanity. You got teams like the Usos. You got teams like The Bar, The New Day over there on SmackDown Live. You could even put Ty Dillinger and R-Truth together as a tag team, as a underdog-like tag team. I would really like to see other teams involved here. You could get the Revival. You could get AOP. You could put McIntyre and Ziggler in that tournament if you want. You could put the Ascension in the tournament if you want. Make it competitive. Or maybe bring up, include a team from NXT. Have it be an open field. Make it exciting. Make it unpredictable. And if a team from NXT wins it, per se, I don't think that would be the case. But I'm just thinking realistically. If you want to really make it and give it a real life feel. If a team from NXT wins it, then they get to be put on Monday Night Raw. If a team from SmackDown wins it, then they get to be moved over to Monday Night Raw, and then you would just make a trade. You know? It could work. You don't need to keep it on Raw and Raw only. I don't understand that. Clearly, there needs to be tag team champions. Not as if they're going to be of any importance. Or I don't want to see Seth Rollins defend the titles on his own. Maybe Seth Rollins goes out and finds another partner. Maybe Seth Rollins brings back Jason Jordan to defend the tag team titles. And that angers Dean Ambrose even more. I don't know. I don't know what WWE could do here, but I'm in favor of a tournament. I know that's probably the answer to everything nowadays, but, tournaments are intriguing and tournaments are exciting. And tournaments can really make an unknown into somebody. That's the reason why I love tournaments. Look at Meiko Satomura for the Mae Young Classic. No idea who the fuck she was entering the tournament. She ended up being my MVP of the entire tournament. Love her. Absolutely fell in love with her. I think WWE should open up this tournament to all teams. To all teams, really. That's what I would do. And at the end, I'd unify the fucking titles. Make the divisions one. That's the only, and I've stated this back since 2016. You guys can fucking go back and watch my draft video. The only reason why I was so happy about the draft was because there was so many superstars not getting an opportunity. And you know how that ended up. But you were going to be without a women's division, and you were going to be without a tag team division. You can't call it a division with 4 or 5 women every single week. On a 3-hour show? No. You can't call it a tag team division with 2 or 3 tag teams featured regularly every single week. No. You gotta fuse the divisions. You gotta make them one. I said it back then, and I stick to it now. Just fuse the divisions together. Everything would feel that much better and a whole lot easier. Roman Reigns, we all knew was going to be in the WrestleMania main event of WrestleMania 35. WrestleMania plans with him being out are now out the window. Roman Reigns opened up on Raw this week, as you guys know. But after he relinquished the Universal Championship, he took a final bow and the Shield fist pump to top off the segment. Roman left, and after receiving plenty of hugs in gorilla position, he made his exit from the building and left after making his sad announcement. PW Insider is reporting that due to Roman Reigns' absence from WWE's picture until he beats leukemia and makes a return, WWE's plans for WrestleMania 35 are now, quote-unquote, out the window. Obviously, Reigns was factored in to be a huge part of the event, given his status with the company. So, that is that. So, people now, it's not too early to be talking about WrestleMania. WrestleMania should be written in pencil. At least the top 4 or 5 matches should be written in pencil at this point come Survivor Series. So, when we get to January, WrestleMania should be written in pen. And then when we get through the Royal Rumble, that shit needs to be colored in fucking marker. Something that's not erasable. Okay? So WrestleMania plans right now with Roman Reigns are out the window, which opens up the possibility of Ronda Rousey being put in the main event. Maybe Ronda versus Charlotte. Or maybe WWE main events WrestleMania with the 4 Horsewomen versus the 4 Horsewomen. I don't know. We'll talk about that going into Evolution tomorrow, because that's also up for debate as well. But what is WWE going to do with Roman Reigns out? You know, I mentioned in the beginning that with Roman Reigns in the announcement, it's brought everybody together. WWE is in a situation right now where they need all the help that they can get. And I took a little period there, a little pause, because I want to get my words right here. WWE is in a situation right now where they need a lot of people to band together and help the company. And Roman Reigns, I've not heard one bad thing about Joe Anoa'i. I have not heard one bad thing. Everybody that talks about him says he's just like the greatest person. And I think everybody in this industry that's worked with WWE and worked alongside him and seen him mature and grow, I think everybody realizes that as well. Who's to say? Seriously, who's to say that this doesn't influence Cody Rhodes to come back to the WWE? And I'm just thinking outside the box here. Who's to say that, you know, Cody was hell-bent on staying with the Elite, staying with the Bullet Club, doing his own thing. Who's to say that when Cody sees this thing go on Monday Night Raw and happen on Monday Night Raw, who's to say that he doesn't call Vince McMahon and be like, I want to come back and help the company. I want to come back and help the company in any way. Who's to say? Someone like Chris Jericho, who's family to WWE, who Jericho talks regularly about Vince McMahon and him being, you know, close with Vince McMahon and Vince McMahon being sort of a father figure to him. Who's to say Chris Jericho then pick up the phone and be like, boss, when do you need me to come back to work? You know? Or anybody out there that was ex-WWE that called Vince McMahon, boss, when do you need me to come back? I want to help any way I can to alleviate the pain of Roman not being there. You know? Who's to say Dwayne Johnson didn't do the same fucking thing? You know, Vince, I'm clearing my schedule for January through April. I'm going to be with the company. I want to be with the company. I want to help you on the road to WrestleMania in light of Roman Reigns being out. I know you need help. I know you need, that big name. I want to be that guy for you. Who's to say that's not currently happening? You know? That definitely could be happening. And WrestleMania plans right now are out the window with Roman Reigns being out. But who's to say that with Roman Reigns being out, WrestleMania isn't looking better now? Not because he's not there, but because of all the talent that wants to come into the WWE to help out Vince McMahon in this dark time. It could certainly happen. WWE, speaking of The Rock, is reportedly making serious pushes to get The Rock in for a WrestleMania return after Roman Reigns went out with his leukemia announcement. So we got news on that from Barn Burners No Holds Bar podcast, and they reveal that WWE is negotiating with The Rock to help out at Mania this year in more than just a small role. They say, and I quote, also the WWE is negotiating for WrestleMania with John Cena and The Rock wrestling, not appearing. Wrestling, not just appearing. End quote. When you talk about bringing in someone like The Rock in, you have to have a lot of variables at play. So even if they can work out a match with The Rock, it's unclear just how much he'd be available to work any of the shows leading into Mania. Dwayne Johnson is just about the busiest guy in the world right now, busiest guy in Hollywood. And for him to wrestle a match, he'll have to jump through the hoops and to make sure any insurance claims out on him will allow such activity. While it seems like a long shot, you never know what could happen in WWE. After all, he has to realize the situation WWE is in at this point after his own cousin had to take a much-needed hiatus from the WWE to battle leukemia. And like I mentioned, who's to say Cody Rhodes is not making a decision to go back to the WWE and jump ship when his contract's up in a couple of months? You know? Who's to say that he doesn't have an influence on the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? Who's to say that Jericho didn't reach out? Or The Rock didn't reach out? You know? Who's to say John Cena isn't going to present himself a little bit more? Boss, when do you need me? It's definitely something that not only brought the community together to band together and wish this guy well, and hopefully he comes back, but the people who are family to the WWE. Who's to say that they didn't reach out to Vince McMahon as well and want to band together and help out where they can while he's out? You know, it's a terrible situation, but, you know, unlike Meltzer, we have to look at how we can benefit from all this. It's definitely going to be an interesting WrestleMania season. It's definitely going to be an interesting October through April for the WWE. Roman Reigns being out could also lead to major NXT call-ups. Roman Reigns' announcement could lead to several NXT superstars being called up. Joe of the Barn Burners No Holds Barred podcast said he's heard talk of NXT call-ups moving up in a more rapid fashion now with Reigns being out of the WWE. The only question is who WWE might call up to help out the Red brand. He says, and I quote, "Look for several NXT call-ups to be brought to the main roster faster because, let's face it, Roman Reigns has been a worker. He's been a main event face of the franchise. So I don't know who they're going to bring up. Maybe Johnny Gargano, maybe Alistair Black, but somebody huge is going to be brought up faster than anything." End quote. NXT is full of amazing superstars in training, and let's face it, some of them don't need all that much polish to begin with. Therefore, it might not be out of the question to see WWE try and fill some of the void left on Raw with some fresh NXT talent. If anything, it will be an interesting way to mix things up and gauge fan reaction if Vince McMahon is in search of a new superstar to become the guy. Johnny Gargano and Alistair Black are not being called up yet. There's just too much story left to tell. I don't see them being called up until January through maybe the summer months. And I'm not even talking about Johnny Gargano. Alistair Black, definitely. Alistair Black, I could see being called up in the early parts of 2019. Johnny Gargano needs to win the NXT Championship. I that's the way I've been feeling. That's the way I felt, and that's the way I'm going to feel. Johnny Gargano needs to win the NXT Championship. I feel like Johnny Gargano needs to win the NXT Championship to validate everything that he's been doing and the story that's been told. Alistair Black is being called up. Alistair Black does not need another NXT Championship reign. He's made. He's set. You know, I could see Shayna Baszler's definitely getting called up. Definitely getting called up. There's no question. There's no doubt in my mind Shayna Baszler's getting called up. Velveteen Dream is definitely getting called up. I can see Velveteen Dream challenging Tommaso Ciampa at War Games, and I could see him called up right after Survivor Series. So I'm looking at Shayna Baszler and Velveteen Dream right now. And then I'm looking for Alistair Black to be called up in... You may even see him in the Royal Rumble. It's not that far out of left field to see Alistair Black maybe show up in the Royal Rumble and factor into a WrestleMania season. You know? Because NXT doesn't need him. NXT doesn't need him. NXT's got plenty of talent to thrive just the way they are. Alistair Black is not needed down there anymore. He's just there biding time and filling the holes in this storyline. Shayna Baszler you don't need, and Velveteen Dream, you know, I love me some Dream, but if Vince wants him, Vince is going to take him. And I can't see him winning the NXT Championship. I don't even see him factoring into a North American Championship. I see him on Raw. And my God, they better treat him with fucking respect and care. Because that character is money. Can't wait to see what happens. Finally, guys, we're going to end with this. Oh my goodness. Holy shit, what a long show, man. I'm sorry if I dragged this on, but there's a lot of news, man. Quickly, When WWE decided to turn Dean Ambrose and Elias on Raw, look into when those decisions were made. Dave Meltzer discussed on Wrestling Observer Radio how both Elias and Ambrose turns were planned to an extent, but they weren't scheduled until way down the line, meaning that Reigns' announcement obviously caused the WWE to jump the gun. They turned Elias, they turned Ambrose. I don't know if either of them were scheduled originally. The Dean Ambrose one was going to happen, but it wasn't going to happen this week. It was more towards the Survivor Series. He says you can debate that aspect of it, whether it's the right or wrong thing to do. From a business and emotional standpoint, this was the week to do it. The reason it was the week to do it, from a business and emotional standpoint, kind of makes you mad that they went that way and they did it. That's the business. I don't know what Elias is going to do. But Elias was going to do a turn this week, but they obviously needed some baby faces. Last week they needed heels. This week they needed baby faces. Elias was going to turn at some point, so that was done this week. End quote. Hopefully WWE will be able to regroup after such a huge loss of Reigns, but as time goes on, perhaps more eyeballs will tune in to see what WWE does. Only time will tell, because this is certainly not a situation that was preferable by any stretch of the imagination. You know, Elias was borderline babyface anyway. You know, Elias had babyface tendencies in him. People love Elias, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to believe that he's a babyface. And the fact that they used Corbin in that situation, who's a true heel, you know, was a nice touch. So I could see Elias thriving as a babyface. And the whole Ambrose thing, I told you guys already, you know, it was the absolute most brilliant way to go about it. It was the perfect time. You feed off the emotion of the Roman Reigns situation and you feed off everybody's just sadness at that time, and you just turn it into a shocking thing. How do you benefit from it? WWE benefited from it, and Ambrose most certainly benefited from it. Folks, we could be looking at a Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins main event for the Universal title at WrestleMania. And if Reigns is back by that time, we don't know. We could be looking at a triple threat match with the Shield for WrestleMania for the Universal title. You know, you got to look at the positives. You got to look at how you could benefit from it. All I know is that Ambrose right now is on Tommaso Ciampa level heel territory, and Rollins is probably going to be the most over babyface on Monday Night Raw. So that's two things right there that they benefited from with Roman Reigns. So we'll see what happens. It's going to make for intriguing television. And when was the last time we could say that there was intriguing television on Monday night? I can't fucking remember. Off the script, man. Unbelievable. Close to 2 hours. I think we're over 2 hours. Yeah, we're over 2 hours. We're over 2 hours on the show today, man. Holy shit. If you enjoyed anything that you've seen or heard on this show today, please hit that thumbs up, man. Let's strive for 2,000 thumbs up on Off the Script today. Thank you guys so much. Please go get your t-shirts, man. They are on sale now. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Harry's, get your shave set, man. Harry's.com/script for your free trial. Audibletrial.com/offthescript for your free 1-month subscription to Audible and 1 free audiobook of your choice. Follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Become one of the 100,000 right here on Off the Script. And I'll see you guys on Saturday with WWE Evolution preview and predictions, man. A whole bunch of news going into Sunday's big, lackluster effort that is Evolution. I'm JD. Thank you guys so very much for the 2 hours that you spent with me today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on Saturday with more Off the Script. Talk to you later.